This video has been made possible by Rebus Farm, the professional render service. So, how good are your modeling skills when you have no time to prepare at all? Okay, so that's the exercise of today. We're going to model a vintage microphone, and we're not going to use any reference, and we're not going to do any preparations. So no thought up front of how you're going to approach it. Just jump in and model it. That's the thing, okay? It's a two-part video. In this part, we're going to do the modeling, and in part two, we'll do the texturing. Okay, here we go. Right, guys, here we go. Well, if you know my channel, you know that on occasion, I like to do tutorials where I do not have anything prepared at all. And I do that on purpose because I think it's a good exercise, okay? So what we're going to do today is a vintage microphone, and I didn't prepare anything. I'm just going to start modeling, and let's see how it turns out, okay? So we're going to take a polygon cube. We're going to hit R to scale it up a bit and stretch it up. And I'm going to do this in a few sections. I'm going to have the mid section and then a top and a bottom that I'm going to add later. So for this to work, I need to have a bunch of subdivisions. So this is going to be fairly high poly. I'm going to hit Control A from my attribute editor. We're going to go to the polycube here, and let's see if 10 is enough. That's going to make it quite, yeah, it's a lot, but looks like we're going to need it. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're going for. All right, so now what I need to do next is I need to identify the center here, and it's not in the center of my grid, so let's try 9. That should work better. And there you have it. Because of that, I now have this row straight in the middle here, and that's what I kind of wanted. And from there, what I'm going to do is, let's see if that's enough. No, sorry guys, it's just simply not enough. We'll do 13. As long as we have an uneven number, we'll be good. So 13, will that work? Yes, it will. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to my top view, and I'm going to right click and go to face, drag select, and we'll take out all of that. Okay, cool. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in, we're going to right click, we're going to go to face, and we're going to select that entire row and that row. And let's see, we've got good symmetry there, so that's good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into the center line here, the one that we identified as being in the middle, and we're going to uncheck that. Let's make sure that this is actually the one in the middle. It is, yeah. So with that said, we are going to hit delete to get rid of those, okay? And then the next step is to check whether we need to have the faces on top, and we really do not. Let me think, is that true? No, we do not. So I'm going to quickly select these top and bottom faces. The quickest way to do that is from the top, actually. I'll drag select and just check here to make sure that that's not what I wanted. I wanted to have the bottom, so we're going to do that again. Hopefully I'm doing it right this time. Come on, try guys, from the top. Yep, and there we go. So that's better, and we're going to hit delete. So now that we have all that stuff, what we're going to do next is we're going to right click and go to object mode. We're going to hit 3 to preview smooth, and you can see that although the shape's there, it's not just round enough. Okay, so first I'm going to hit 1 to go back, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these, actually let's take all of them. Let's hit Control E to extrude, and let's do 0.1. That should be enough. We're going to right click at object mode. We're going to hit 3 again to preview smooth. And you can see that although this looks okay, this is too smooth here. So with that, what we're going to do is first we're going to tweak that shape. So we're going to go in from the top. We're going to hit 4 for wireframe mode. And we're going to start to make this a bit rounder. Okay. So right click vertex. Let's drag, select all of this stuff. Hit W and start to pull that out. Skip a row of vertices from both ends. And just keep on going. Okay, so that's that, that's good. Then I want this shape to be held firm, so I'm going to go into Insert Edgeloop, option box, multiple, and we'll do 2. And I'm going to add them right there. And then I'm going to hit R to pull them out, close to the edge there, so that that will be held. Right click object mode, 3 to preview smooth. Now it's a little bit better, but it's still quite round. And I'm even thinking whether I should actually do the smooth or not. Okay, so what we'll do instead, because I want this to be a nice crisp cut here, we'll round this out manually. Okay, so we're going to go in. I'll just close this out so we got a bit more room to work with. Okay, so we'll go in. We're going to right click and go to our vertices, and what we're going to do here is we're going to hit R and we're going to slightly pull that out, and again skip a row and keep on going. It's kind of tricky to do that kind of thing manually. And then we're going to take these two and we're going to hit W and we're going to bring that in a bit. Hit R, push that in. Let's see. Actually, let's hit Control Z and make sure that that's undone, because it has some straightness to it. Okay, so let's have a look. That's our guy. Doesn't look bad at all, I think. So now that we have that, what we're going to do next is we're going to take this guy and we're going to go to the top. Our center pivot is right there. So we're going to hit Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold down J to snap as we move it around. Okay, and we have this little opening in the middle, and that is exactly what I wanted, which is good. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to insert some elements. We're not going to do that just right now, but this is looking okay so far. So now let's deal with our top and our bottom. Okay, so for that, we're going to take a polygon cube, hit W, raise that up, and then from the top we're going to hit R and we're going to start to scale that to about there, and then we're going to go in Control A for attribute editor, and let's do, actually before I do subdivision level, let's make sure that we get rid of any faces we don't want, which is the bottom one right here. Hang on, let's see, if I do that I can't change it afterwards. So let's give this a try. 13, 13, 13. Yeah, it's fine. The only annoying bit is, like I said, now I have to go in and take out those bottom faces, but that's fine. What we'll do is right click at a face, drag select all of these, and then deselect these. So I now should have that selected, and I do. So hit delete to get rid of that. That's good. And then we need to consider the height as well. So we got a bit too much going on there. So let's right click and go to face, and let's see. We're probably going to want something like that. Okay, so as far as symmetry is concerned, let's see, we're gonna start to select a number of faces here and see how that works out for us. That's actually fine. So now that I have that, what I can do is go to my top here and identify one of these faces. So that's where I want to go from. Okay, so that's good. So we're gonna select that row, and because we're not smoothing this out, it makes everything a bit more tricky. Okay, so we're going to delete that, and that's good. Then we're going to need to get this guy in shape, so we're going to see if that's okay from there. It is. We're going to right click and get a vertex, and we're going to drag select these vertices. We're going to hit R, and we're going to start to pull them out. Skip a row. And we'll tighten that up when we're at that point. Good thing is we pretty much have the hard part done. So that looks all right. We do need to adjust the roundness from the top here. So that means I need to address it from this view. And we're going to right click at object mode. We're going to hit W and we're going to push that down. I have to zoom in to about there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click at our vertex, and we're going to take these and pull that up, skip one, skip, and don't go nuts on that. Just trying to make sure that it's not flat. Okay, let's have a look and see what we got here. So that's not too bad. We need to do the same on the sides, and that looks to be okay, but these corners here are really sharp. So let's give this a try to smooth it. That would actually work. We do need to tweak it a little bit in the front and in the back, as you can see. So we're going to hit 1 to go back. And let's go into the top, and what we'll do is we'll right click at the edge, and we'll take these two edges, hit R to pull them out. It looks like I didn't get the entire edge here. Of course not, that makes sense. Let's see, we'll do that differently. I'm gonna take these vertices and I'll do it that way because we don't have any cuts in that area. So there we go, and we'll jump one, we'll jump another, and that's exactly my point. When you normally would model something like this, you would think about it, you would make some sketches, you would kind of consider how you want to approach the modeling, and the complete opposite is just to jump in and start to model. Now, I wouldn't normally recommend doing that unless you want to challenge your skills and see if you can, you know, make it happen. Okay? This looks like a pretty tedious bit of work, but this is probably the main work that we need to do. Let's have a look here. All right, so that's not bad. Now that area is actually closed up there, so that's good. Let's see, we're gonna right click at object mode. Let's do a preview just for the heck of it. That's not bad. That's actually nice, with the exception of go in, insert edge loop. Where'd you go? Here you go. And we're going to do a manual setting. We want one here to hold that straight angle there. And we want one up here as well. Q on a keyboard, right click object mode, and 3 to preview smooth. Let's see. That's not bad. It's a bit bumpy, if you will. And this is way too round. So we're going to hit 1, we're going to go back. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back in to insert edge loop from this view right here. And what we'll do is we'll go in and we're just going to start to add edge loops here. Now we don't really have a poly count restriction on this, so okay, hit Q on my keyboard, right click object mode, hit 3 to preview smooth. That is actually not too bad. Shouldn't be too slick because that's not what we want. Now that's all right. Now, excuse me, we are going to copy this down. But first I want to try something. I'm going to hit R. I'm going to bring that in a bit just to see how that looks. This is, I think, an appropriate height. The only thing that I miss a little bit is the roundness on top. Okay, and let's see if this guy looks okay here. So yeah, that's fine. Hang on. Okay, we did a smooth on this. We didn't decide on that, so that's good. So this looks okay. What I'm going to do next is I'm just going to tweak this a little bit because I want that top to be a bit more round. So we're going to hit 4 for wireframe mode. So we're going to right click, go to vertex, and we'll just deal with these top vertices. I'm just going to hit W and I'm going to start to bring that up. I think that's a bit better. Okay, I like that. So with this guy, we're going to hit 1 to go back out of preview, and we're going to go to mesh and smooth to actually smooth, and that looks all right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to copy this guy down. So Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold down J to snap it to 90 degrees, W to bring that down, F to zoom in. We'll put it in right there. F to zoom in again. for wireframe mode. Let's make sure that that's a good fit right there. And same up here. Yeah, it's okay. All right. So now let's look at the overall height. That is a bit much. So I'm going to take this guy, hit R and push that in. And then we'll take these, go to mesh and combine. And let's actually bring that in a bit too. Okay. And I know I'm just eyeballing it, but okay, so that's that. We'll take this one, we'll bring that in. I have to zoom in. All right, not too bad. So then we need to have some strips on the end here. Actually, before we do that, we'll take this and we will, yes, what we'll do is we'll go here, right click at a face, select all of the faces, then go back in and deselect these, so the ones in the middle, deselect the sides too. Okay, same at this end. All right, same here. Deselect these and these sides here. Let's hit R. It's not exactly what I had in mind at all, actually. Let's go back for a sec here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll reverse that process. We'll take these and these, just the ones in the middle. We're going to hit Control E to extrude. We'll do thickness 0.01. That's not enough. 0.03. Yeah, it's a bit better. We just want to break that surface just slightly. Okay, so then we need these strips here. For that, we'll take a polygon cube, we'll hit W, we'll pull that out, hit R to push that in and stretch that out like so. And if you like, you can add a little bit of decoration to that. You don't have to, but you can. So we're going to hit W, we're going to bring that down to the top right there. Then we're going to hit R and we're going to push it in. We're going to right click and go to vertex, drag select, hit W to pull that up to there. Have to zoom in. So that's the right height. That looks okay as well. We're going to right click at object mode. We're going to hit R and we're going to pull that out just a little. And then we're going to right click, go to object mode, hit W, push that in. F to zoom in. That looks all right. And then we're going to move to this end, Control D to duplicate, pull that over. F to zoom in. Not sure whether I want that to stick out or not. Actually, I do not. So I'm going to bring it in just one position here. And we'll do the same here. Like so. Yeah, it's better. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to create an interior. Okay. So for that interior, we kind of need to mimic this shape here. So first we're going to select the whole thing, and we're going to go to Mesh and Combine. And let's go to Edit and Delete by Type History. There we go. And now what we can do is we can take a polygon cube and hit R to scale it out. Go in, give it a subdivision level of 13 by 13 by 13. And then what we can do is from this point, we can start to hit R, bring that in just within the dimensions of our model here. And then from this view, same deal, and bring that in. And as you can see, slightly different height there. And then we need to have a look and see how that works for us. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to mimic that shape, like I said. So we're going to take this guy, we're going to hit Control A, and we are going to go into layers and create layer from selected, and then there we go. We're going to hit that guy, so I cannot accidentally select it. Okay, so what we can do now is we can right click and go to vertex. We're going to drag select this vertex row here, start to bring that up, skip one from each end, and this is going to be in the interior, so don't panic if it's not perfect. The only thing you need to make sure of is that you don't go outside of your original geometry. Okay, and we are going to make this a perforated material. My mouse is a bit jumpy, sorry for that. So that is that. Okay, then we're gonna switch views to right here. Let's see, we're gonna go to this view here. You can see that certain elements of our model are sticking out here. So we're gonna right click, go to vertex, and excuse me, we're gonna take all of them. We're gonna push them well inside our model, like so. And then we're gonna start to take these rows and we're gonna start to push them out. And again, do not push them outside of the border of our initial model. This is going to be quite high poly, but it's for display purpose only. So once we have this rendered, that's it. That should be pretty good. So I'm going to go back to my layer here and right click at object mode. So that is nice, nice, and nice. And we only need to deal with the front here, actually the front and back. So let's see. That is right here. Okay. So this is still unselectable, which is good. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit R and we're going to drag that out to the edge here. And then we're going to tweak that a little bit. So we're going to right click, we're going to go to vertex. We're going to drag, select these vertices and these vertices. Let's just bring that down just slightly. This one and this one, we need to kind of tweak that back a little bit. And looks like everything is well inside. So we're just going to right click on object mode. We are going to turn that layer back on. Okay, so as you can see, that was a bit much. So we are going to push that back in a little and push that back in a little. You should be okay to see certain areas here. So that should be it, okay? All right, so now that we have that, we need to model the fixture down here. And for that, we'll use a separate piece of geometry. And what we'll do there is we will take a, actually, let's take a, what's that thing called? Yeah, cylinder, okay. We're gonna go down here. We're gonna hit E to rotate, hold down J to snap to 90 degrees. We're gonna take half off from this view. So F to zoom in. First we're gonna hit Control A and add some subdivision. Let's do 30. We're gonna right click at a face. We're gonna drag select the top here. Let's not do 30, let's do 31, because then we have a level half to use. Okay, so is that true? Yeah, looks like, yep. So we're going to delete that. We are going to right click at object mode. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate. Just trying to think whether I want to make this a bit more fancy or not, with some decoration in it, maybe. Actually, we could do that. So I'm just going to hit Control Z. We're going to go in, Insert Edgeloop, option box, multiple, 2. We'll do 2 right there. Q on our keyboard, right click face, select that, face row, and that's annoying. I thought we had that one as well. Okay, now we do. All right, so face row and face row, Control E to extrude. Let's do a positive thickness, 0.04 maybe. Yeah, that looks all right. Okay. So we're gonna go to object mode, we're gonna hit Control D to duplicate, W to move over to, yeah, let's say there. We're gonna select them both. We're gonna go to Mesh and Combine. Where'd you go? Edit, delete by type, history, and modify freeze transformation. Yeah, there we go. And modify center pivot. Then we're going to go to this end of our model. We're going to pull that up. And it looks like we've got an additional copy floating around there. We'll get rid of that in a sec. We're going to hold down V to snap it. Pull that up. Get rid of this. And these guys are way too small. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to eyeball that a little bit. We're going to hit R to scale that and do that in a way that it still makes sense and it still fits. Okay, now we need to keep these holes in mind. So Let's have a look from this view. We'll hit E to rotate it, hit W, and we'll bring it in around there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Alrighty, so now that we have that, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little axle or whatever you call that. Let's actually let's take two little spheres. That always looks good. Okay, from this view we're going to bring that in here. F to zoom in, R to scale down, until we roughly have that where it should be from a measurement point of view. Guess that looks fine. And then from this view, we'll pull that out here, halfway. Control D to duplicate. We'll pull one out here, F to zoom in. And there you have it. Come on, let's snap, yep. So we got that. We're gonna take these two and I'm gonna go to mesh and combine. And then I'm gonna go in. Modify center pivot. We're going to rotate that a little bit, and then what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the face, and we're going to hit shift period to increase that selection, and that as well, and we're going to hit delete, and hopefully that worked at both ends. Seems to be okay. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take another polygon and we're going to place that one in between. So hit E to rotate, J to snap to 90 degrees, and let's position that in the middle. Okay, looks like we only had one of our guys here, so get rid of that. Right click face, there we go. Let's just quickly fix that, guys. For wireframe mode, that's the one we want. We don't want it to be off. Okay, so shift period, see if that's better. Yes, it is. All right, so we've got this guy. We're going to W, we're going to pull that up, and we're going to position that in between here. Hit R to push that in so it's a good fit. Check it from this view. We're going to hit W, we're going to bring that in here, and we're going to look for the center point of this guy here, which is a bit tricky, so we're going to eyeball that. Hit 5 for shaded mode. That looks to be all right. And then we'll take a rod or a cylinder, and we're going to hit R to stretch that. Let's make it a bit thinner and longer. Okay, we're gonna hit W and we're gonna bring that in. And maybe even make it thinner than that. And W, bring that up. F to zoom in. Now I want to look up there, so I'm gonna move my pivot point up. So I'm gonna hit the Enter key. So I can move it way up there, hit the insert key again, F to zoom in. So we can see whether this is where it needs to be. Now that looks to be all right. Let's hit F to zoom in again. And I want to make sure that it looks okay. We're going to hit 3 to preview smooth. Let's see, mesh and smooth to actually smooth, which will give us a tapered top there, which is not bad. But we'll hit Control Z to undo that for the simple reason that I want to insert an edge loop. We'll just do one, and I'll do one down here. And we'll scroll up, up, up for wireframe mode and push one up there. Q on a keyboard, right click object mode and mesh and smooth. Okay. Now I want this to be at a little bit of an angle here. So what we'll do is we'll select this guy, and looks like we got a thing floating around here, so get rid of that. So we want to select everything with the exception of this rod here and go to mesh and combine. All right, and then we're going to need to move the pivot point down here to that sphere. So we're going to go to modify and center pivot. We're going to hit W to move so we can see where it is. We're going to hit the insert key and we're going to move that down and to the right. F to zoom in. Let's close this out so we can see what we're doing. All right, so let's move that down here, and again we kind of need to eyeball this. Let's do about that. Okay, hit the insert key again. We're gonna hit E to rotate the whole thing to, let's say, something like so. All right, then we're gonna drag select everything. Not everything, almost everything. We're gonna hit 5 for shaded mode. We're gonna get in between the cracks here. Let's go to mesh and separate. This needs to be separate. The rest can be in one piece. Okay, but what we'll do just to make it easier for texturing is we'll assign a new material. I'll go with a Lambert. And then we'll just give it any other color. Let's see, this and this should be the same material. So we're gonna assign new material, Lambert, and let's do blue. Then I want a material for these guys, and this, and this. Okay. Right click, assign new material, Lambert. Let's do, I don't know, red, whatever. And let's see, this should be blue as well, obviously, as well as that. Assign new material, Lambert, and blue. There you have it. So that's the whole deal. We are going to select everything. We're going to go to edit, delete by type history. We're going to go to modify and freeze transformation. Okay, that concludes the entire modeling bit for our microphone. And in the next part, we're going to jump in and do some texturing, lighting, and rendering. Okay, see you guys there.